Hello and welcome to this episode of Microchips, and today we are having a look at my MFJ Intellituner model MFJ 993B, which has developed a fault on the display. But before we do that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, join the Facebook group, have a look at my website and all that. But before we get on with it, here's a quick word from today's video sponsor. PCBWay. PCBWay is a China Shenzhen-based PCB manufacturer and printed board assembler with more than a decade in the field of PCB prototype and fabrication. They offer a wide range of services including 3D printing, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication and much more. PCBWay also offer a prototype PCB assembly service with component sourcing and online quote with 24-hour delivery services. PCBWay is committed to meeting all of your PCB needs. They offer quality, on-time delivery and competitive pricing. 1 to 2 layer boards start at $5 with 24-hour turnaround. Get an instant quote by visiting PCBWay.com or click on the link below to check them out. So here's a close-up of the display, and as you can see, some of the segments have started fading out. And if you leave this switched on over time, it starts to do random stuff on the display, and basically it's just not happy. And it seems to have got worse over time. And thing is, when you do actually transmit, so it's actually updating the display, everything goes back to normal, but then after a few minutes it starts to play up again. So as you can see, we've got some segments faded. So let's have a look, see if we can't fix this. So I don't think I've ever had the lid off this before. And on first glance, it seems to be a well-made machine inside. Got lots of relays, lots of inductors, lots of capacitors, as you would expect from an automatic antenna tuner. Everything looks good in there. But what I'm actually hoping is that the display unit itself is a standard display unit. Or shall we say the LCD unit is a standard LCD unit. And looking at the pins on the back of the display, it kind of looks like it is. Oh, that row of pins there kind of gives it away. So it's looking good for an LCD replacement. Hopefully MFJ haven't used anything strange and just used off-the-shelf components. But to get to it, we've got to dig into the front. So first off, let's fold the front over, and then we'll undo our retention screws for the front. These are all on nice standoffs. And I'm also going to unsolder the wires for the meter as well, just so I don't have to put any strain on those cables. And this earth one is being a bit stubborn due to the amount of copper. It's sinking the heat away. You can see this one's been really stubborn. We'll come back to that in just a sec. Being careful not to burn those 2 VRs with my soldering iron. So just using the soldered side of the soldering iron this time, just to get as much heat transfer as possible. Out comes the final wire, and we should be able to have a look at the display unit. So looking at it, the display unit looks to be a standard one. So this will be easily sourced and replaced. And funnily enough, a quick visit to AliExpress, and we have a replacement LCD unit just for a couple of pounds. Excellent, nice cheap repair. So using my desolder gun, I put some flux on the pins just to aid the solder, and using the desolder gun we remove, or should we say desolder, all the pins, just like so. Very nice. With a bit of gentle persuasion, we managed to break the last pieces of solder that were holding it and slide off the old display unit. As you can see on the back, it says 1602B, and the one I've got is a 1602A. But it should be compatible, should be fine. Even though they do look different, it should have a standard interface on it. So let's get the replacement display soldered into place. So just tacked one on the end. We'll just make sure everything's level, make sure everything's flat. And we'll get this soldered into place. So the nice big pins, nice big contacts, no problem with the soldering. Excellent. Job's a good one. So we'll quickly just put some power on, make sure it works, everything looks like it's good. Nice bright display on this one instead of that dull green one. And it looks like all our segments are working. So, excellent. Let's reassemble it. So, reassembly is exactly the same as disassembly. Carefully lining up all the buttons, which is a little bit tricky because you've got the standoffs. But once you've lined up all the buttons, you can then put the screws in and everything will be nicely attached. I don't know whether there was any eagle-eyed people spotted something there. But as I was in the process of putting it back together, I had to take it all apart again because we forgot to peel the protective film off the front of the LCD. So, take it all apart and then put it back together again. So, let's get it all screwed together, get everything tightened down, get that speaker back into place. The speaker's a little bit more fiddly because it's got spacers on it. But just locating one and then screwing the next one down seems to be fine. So that's nicely back into place. We'll resolder our meter wires back on. Just like so. Just remembering which wire went to where. But luckily it is marked on the board, so there's no problem with that. They could have made the wires a little bit longer, but never mind. Here we go, soldered back into place. We'll re-screw the front screws to attach the front back to the bottom of the unit. Just like so, and we'll put the lid back on because I'm absolutely sure there's going to be no problems. Let's fire it up. So this display is considerably brighter than the old one, but it's a lot clearer. None of the segments are broke. Everything seems to be working as intended. Very nice. So we'll just try transmitting into it, and everything seems to be working nicely. No problems at all. The tuner unit inside seems to be operational. As you would expect. So yeah, all good. So the last thing to do is just set the contrast for the display, which is conveniently done through a hole in the front. So we'll just get the display looking nice and sharp, but without going too far. That looks good, looks very nice. Nice, sharp and bright display. So an easy repair, just a long way in and a long way out to actually get to the part. But yeah, this should last a few more years now. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, join the Facebook group, all that lot. Big thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring the video. And I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you in another video.